We're the ladies behind Stock Codes. The whole purpose of this meeting tonight, and hopefully we'll do it every month, is to leverage each other. Ashley Taylor, she's from Valley Vital. She's the one you see those green bins around town, people composting. We had the green bins at our pop-ups this summer, and if you paid $2, you got to drop your personal compost. And she's going to be our first guest speaker tonight. So can we give Ashley a round of applause?
Just a quick show of hands. Who has heard of my business before? I'm just kind of curious. Okay. Second question, who's heard of permaculture before? Yay! That's going to involve way less excavation than I produce over 8,500 eggs in a year. I own myself just under a half acre of land, and that's where I do my eggs, egg layers, and I do the broilers out near here in Fernie. We just did our second slaughter of the season, and we harvested 375 pounds of organic free-range chicken. I have my Class E poultry license, which I obtained this year, which means that I do everything start from finish. So I raise the chicks myself. I'm interacting with them every day, and I'm the one who helps end their life at the end of their cycle. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, it's an emotional topic. I believe that to be an omnivore means that I have to know where my food is coming from and value where my food is coming from. But I also value life, so it is a very hard time. We just finished the process yesterday, so it is a bit of an emotional journey for me. So I apologize for that. No, I don't, actually. So apparently I'm a bit crazy, and I'm expanding my business next year, as you can see with the beautiful poster. I also think education is very important, and I absolutely love teaching kids about food and where their food comes from and how to grow food. So this year I did a presentation with the grade 3 class from Isabella Dickens, and there was 68 and 9-year-old students, and I was teaching them about food cycles versus a linear food system. So to complete that food cycle where I collect the food waste, I turn it into compost, chickens, and eggs. I also am taking the compost next season, I'm putting it into the garden beds, and I am starting a market garden. I plan to sell my produce and my eggs and my chicken at market next season. And eventually I'd like to complete the cycle by selling directly the produce I produce back to the restaurants that have supported me in my composting program to complete the cycle. My goal eventually is to be able to grow 1 million calories in food. That equates to the carbon footprint of 7 individuals, if you can accomplish that. So that's also the part of building community. So right now it's just me, with the help of family and friends that I have no idea why they put up with me at this point, and the support of businesses such as Big Bang Bagels. But I'd like to expand that community, do more education, work with more different organizations. Stock Code offered to have a location and collect the money for me to be able to offer a residential composting business. I have a lot of things to improve on, things to tweak. My biggest pet peeve right now is the fact that I use plastic liners for my composting bins. I've tried lots of different methods, lots of different options, and I haven't quite gotten there, but I'm working on it as we speak. And just trying to expand to bring, so that it doesn't feel like it's just me on my own in this mission. This entire business has been self-funded. I've been working full-time jobs at the same time as initiating this project, as well as trying to run my own homestead. I like to call it a homestead, even if it is just a half acre. That being said, I've had the loving support of my grandmother. She has been my biggest financial supporter and emotional supporter, I would say, as well. So if there was an individual who could help me with the financial aspects, even just understanding the business aspect to it, because I do not come from that background. My financial literacy is rather poor. It's been something that I've been working at. I'm learning bookkeeping skills right now for other purposes as well. And the second one would be, I feel like there's a lot of really good educators in our community. To partner with someone to be able to do for the education side, so that I can start to develop a program or just someone to help organize events. Like the presentation at IDES, I screwed up. I thought it was for FJ Mitchell, so I drove to Sparwood first, realized my mistake, and came rushing back. So even just helping organize and streamline my vision. I struggle right now with the fact that I work currently 4 other jobs while trying to run this business. So it's a lot of mental bandwidth is taken up. I fell in love with this book as soon as the title, Building a Better World in Your Backyard, instead of being angry at bad guys, because that's where I was. It's like, why are you doing all these awful things? And then you realize how much you can actually do yourself. And it's even simple things that you don't really think about, and he explores a lot of myths that, because I fall for it all the time, greenwashing. And it doesn't really go into the details of his books, but it gives the resources to go find those details that he's talking about. So if you ever want to go somewhere close, 4 hours away, you can go visit him at Wheaton Labs and see what he's doing. It takes me about 1.5 years to take my compost to a finished product, which all I have left is a very small amount, but you're actually trying to avoid that, losing that biomass for composting. So the next method I'd like to try is based off of edible acres method, and I hope to be able to process the same amount of compost in 8 days. So it's a lot more manual labor, but it's all these different alternative technologies, I would say, you are able to access when you're in the permaculture world, but they're stuck with the fact that they have to do more of the windrows method, and as soon as you have a pile that's greater than, I believe, 10 tons, you have to have a concrete barrier. So you basically have to be in a lagoon. So there's been struggling to find a site to be able to put that, because nobody wants to compost in their backyard. So there is people working very hard to have a municipal pickup program, which won't necessarily affect me because it won't be offered to the businesses. But until then, it is in the works to be able to try and do some more residential composting, because I have things like electrical fencing to be able to, and the chickens to be able to reduce the attractants for wild animals. Right now for my chickens, I sell it in 4 hours. So I don't have an issue selling my product that I have. There's a huge demand in Fernie. It's actually creating the product right now, but I guess the upfront funds is what you're getting at.
How much is a chicken?
I sell them for $6 a pound. And they're 5 to 8 pounds. Next year I want to grow 50% of all of my consumption.
Of your own personal?
Of my own personal consumption. In 5 years, I'd like to be able to grow 1 million calories worth of food. And to feed the community, though, that can't be on my shoulders. So I need to develop a community and be part of that. And I don't know, in Fernie, with the environment we have, if that's a central location or if it's at an individual level where we teach the individual how to do things in their backyard, or if it's a mix of all of the above. But it's a question that I would love. I'm such a perfectionist, and I'd love to tackle it all by myself. And then I work 14 hours with my boyfriend slaughtering chickens until 8 o'clock at night, and we both injure ourselves and we're out for the next week. So it is really learning how to ask for help and start building those connections and those networks. Yeah.